There's this inspiring story. You guys can pause the video and type this on your Google search bar and you can read it through on yourself. So basically, the title mentioned as what it is. Um, Now, this lady who's 21, who has a child, until now she still couldn't get a daycare. Now, it doesn't mention about a partner or a husband in the background, but it just sounds like she's very empowering, independent woman who runs this business, right? So when there's no daycare program for her child, and she's running the business on her own as a first business, as a very young entrepreneur, a cafe in her local area, because she was forced to go and do that because of there's no daycare center that would accept her child. Now, being myself as a father, who's my daughter's gonna turn, what's the month today? Today's the 15th. Soon gonna be turned 10 months? Am I right? What is this? Yeah, 10 months. 10 months. Man, having a child during that, within a 1 year period, it's very difficult. And even till now, my daughter is having all the flu symptoms and it's coughing nonstop, and wanting the mother's attachment. But I'm very fortunate that we have the grandparents to look after close to full-time hours in the week. But this, Leanne, who has no choice, as you mentioned here, there's nothing much, it's difficult situation that putting herself into. She basically runs the cafe for 7 days a week with my baby, at the back. Like, I think it's, in that way it's great because she's moving around, so she can actually running a cafe is a one person job, but because I have Mercy here, I can't be here by myself to breastfeed or plus the service. So I have to pay staff 1,600 per week. Well, it is what it is sometimes. I'm pretty sure your staff is very loyal, very, very loyal, understand your situation. I know be a mother, a group or play dates. So this story is very, very inspiring. And, just to see that, I'm pretty sure if you're running a business, and I'm pretty sure you won't be getting a Centrelink payment because of the income that you've been getting exceeding. So this is the story that is very inspiring to see what's it like when you don't have a welfare state on you. And it's strong, empowering story that really hits me, saying that they can do it. Like, there's tough times, there's tough moments, running a cafe like that on your own. I really like the whole idea, whether you piggyback the baby at the back or at the front while you're serving, while the baby likes that sort of motion. And if you look at like old films, especially, I haven't watched those old Western films, but if you watch like old Asian films, they do have that sort of notion. Or if you watch like, the Yakuza gangster films, and you can see the store owner or the worker will piggyback their son behind them while they're serving the customer. It's very inspiring to see that, and I think it's the way to go. For the child to experience, the body movement, the vibration, and the attachment with the mother right next to them. That's what the child really needs. I really like the whole concept for doing that. But with the modern world, they forbid for doing that. But if I had another child again, I would like to run a business and having my partner to do that sort of lifestyle, that working speed, just to make it a lot easier. I know it's difficult when she cries, when the nappy change or whatever. Obviously there will be support and everything, but it's great to see that sort of notion. But this is what it looks like when you have no welfare state, or you have childcare, or when you have daycare, you have a government welfare. This is what it looks like, the story. Now, my story at the current story, my current situation may not be alike to Leanne, but mine is very, I won't say it's a different from a different levels. Oh gosh, I'm gonna go into swimming pool and now it's all the school bus coming in. Is that my daughter is 10 months old, And we did apply for Centrelink, which is a welfare state, social welfare, for maternity leave for my missus, and as well, perhaps maybe get a form of parenting payment or X, Y, and Z. Because the time when we applied for it, we were still in a severe lockdown. My daughter was born, severe lockdown. 2 days after she was born, there was a restriction has lifted for, the first one was going to the restaurant, and after that it started to ease. And the time, it's an uncertainty moment for myself and for my partner as well. At that given time, I have to remember that. I have to remember what was happened during that time. I know this video is going to be blabbing so long, which is not closely related to this, but I could see there's some similarity, and I hope you guys can be patient about it. It's the fact that, like when you go through things like that, like major events, like, or no government support or whatsoever. So the problem is, like, I was in a very rough situation. When my daughter was about to be born, I was in a limbo wages, I'll be honest with you. When I left my job in September, I think 9th or 16th, I was granted a role, full-time casual, and it only lasted a week, and I got sacked. I was leaving my previous job because it was deteriorating my health, and I was a service manager, and I dropped down to something a bit easier so I can spend time with my loved ones. And when I lost that job, it was a hardship for us, and lucky we had the government support during that time, where the job seeker or whatever what we had. And we were running for, like, for myself, I was chasing jobs, like even do 3-hour shift, to travel 1 hour away at night and do shifts that is active. And it was a very bad timing, and I was helping my uncle repairing one of the, doing a bit of laboring job for the house for painting. And my lifestyle, it wasn't the great, like the income wasn't enough to sustain the house, and the house we were renting, and we had to pay, and it was just a bit too much clustering at the same time. It was hard for me to stabilize my income, efficient. But over time, when I go grind and hustle and finding other companies and working my way out, and even get COVID and still go to work, go to be a hustler, until today, I still haven't get finalized by the social welfare on parenting leave or any form of payment. And even though today I'm supposed to call up Centrelink just to follow that one up, but it's just that, could you imagine if I had Centrelink help all the way through for a lot more parenting payments? Of course, it's vital to spend more time with my daughter. It's important to go that, but it's like reliance on it, because that society at that given time of event, it was so different, because we got the lockdown and uncertainty when is another lockdown is going to come. And thank God it hasn't been coming until now, but the news right now I've been seeing, we might be going back to another lockdown because the cases has been spiked, or in a form of way of lockdown. So that's what I'm looking at the moment. And I'm just going through and see the hardship that what myself I had to put through for my family to go through. And I was lucky enough to find the links, where do I get the job, and I had to travel hours and hours and a half away just to make the money and ends need and understand the formula. And now I'm okay if I lose my job and I know where to get work. But at that moment of time during the coronavirus, it is even harder. It's a harder protocol and everything like that, because of the industry, the way how it is. But in my industry, we had to do community access for the caring, that you take them to shopping or whatever. But when it's in lockdown, you can't take them out. So pretty much I already lost most of the work. I have to change the focus on the areas that I had to focus in to working with the client. So make sure that if there's another lockdown, I'm ensure that I still got work, because it's they really needed the service, the work and everything like that. So it was a very tough moment. May not be very similar to her, but there was a similar hardship, I could say. And I am so, at the moment, to read that story, just to reflect back on my journey, the way I am right now. And it's something that I never discussed about it or thought about it, the hardship, what I went through, where at the time I was very jealous of the coworker that we both resigned at the same time. We were in the top position. He was a lot more stable route, and he was forcing me to apply for a big company, and I wasn't ready for a big company because I wanted to find out, try and error. I was applying lots of company on me, and there wasn't enough hours, even though when I call up, and slowly granted with permanent shifts. And that is slowly when it comes in with long hours and everything like that. It was blessed that I had that opportunity. Taking action, taking a lead, quick thinking, do the action, because at the end of the day, you cannot trust the government. My missus wanted me to take a week or 2 weeks off because she believes that the government is going to pay us in the coming weeks or months, but it's been dragged to 10 months and nothing's been approved. So that's the story that I could say, that self-reliance and this type of story, that it makes it really hit harder. Like, I really encourage, people who hustle that hard. And even on that article, it also mentions that she does not know what to do when the government now, or the day program, allowed to set her child to go to day program. She has no idea what to do, because she has pushed your order to the edge and is working out properly, is hustling, she's multitasking. But what's happening when the government says, open their hands and things like that? And that is something that what each individual of us should train ourselves to, not always rely on the government, and always work on your needs that survive, above and beyond. And just a government is maybe a plan B and plan C. Never put government plan A. And that's all the whole video is about, that I wanted to discuss, about the hardship, self-reliance, quick thinking, act immediately. If I didn't do all that during the coronavirus pandemic since day one in 2020, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be telling you that I'll be a father today. I wouldn't tell you that I'm not afraid to lose job, because I know where the agencies that I go to. I'm not afraid, like before when I make videos in the past, I'm always afraid and fear because of the environment, the education level has made me dumbing down with the PC culture. When I study social work, and as well with all the political correctness and the terminology and how to behave X, Y, and Z, and make us as heterosexual as down below, where homosexuality is above us. That's the education. Now, I'm not saying that I'm against it. I'm saying that I acknowledge, but the PC culture has skyrocketed even higher. Make me feel like I'm unworthy being a male in the society, even though I'm an Asian male, but somehow I had to apologize in front of my entire class about it. So it has gone from a long way to all the way to where I am today. So not to care, and I'm willing and see the next chapter of life, and that's about it. So that's why I am very, very inspired to read that story. It made me reflect on the last 2 years, especially everyone around the world, what they had to go through. And I'm pretty sure all you guys have a story to tell, whether you're burnout or mental health or job loss or loss of house or loss of marriage or loss of family. Man, it's everything, man, this last 2 years. But it did pretty well for me, for quick acting, thinking, where during that time, not many people were applying jobs, but at the beginning of the coronavirus, and I hit in the right market for getting the job. And my missus bought the house for a lot cheaper when the first coronavirus hit in. Nobody wants to go to an auction or attend to a house inspection during that time. Everyone's fear for it. So it was a great time, we did, I'm not saying everything went well on us, but we did pretty okay, during that time, pretty good. We had a job. So yeah, that's about it. That's the video that I'm trying to share.